Every week I go on YouTube, I type in Master Duel just to see what's going on with the actual game itself. And I've seen tons and tons of videos about the game just dying. And I think that goes to a bigger thing with overall Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, in my opinion, slowly being on a decline. But Master Duel is one of the most popular games Yu-Gi-Oh! Have had in a while that was digital that just kind of fallen off the face of the earth. Like right now, I'm on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel website. Well, for Steam Deck, that is. It had a 72% approval rating, and then obviously that's just the people who actually love Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, who's gonna play it to the game fall off. Looking right here at the chart, the game peaked at 262,000 viewers playing at an all-time high, which is insane. Now you got 10,697 viewers playing, which is not bad, but it's still not good to what its peak was. Then when you scroll down here, pull myself over here in the corner and just actually see what's going on right here with the ratings for the game, it's mainly a lot of red. Like when the game was first downloaded, it had like quarter a million people play because nostalgia was a thing. It was the lockdown. Everyone was getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! And people like myself who actually play the TCG competitively, we all thought, okay, this is gonna finally be able to have a good replacement for Dueling Book because at one point when Master Duel first came out, if you got a lot of you guys may not remember, for you guys that do play competitive, who do go on Dueling Book to grind the ranks, Dueling Book kind of got shut down. And it's typically every time Dueling Book gets shut down or the online simulators for Yu-Gi-Oh get shut down, it's typically when Konami or Shueisha, whoever drops a Yu-Gi-Oh property that to help coincide with the actual card game itself. And so they want to eliminate the competition essentially so they can push their product, which makes sense. The only thing that sucks about it is when you have stuff like this where the game is kind of toxic and people just don't care about it. Yu-Gi-Oh is an insane property. It's been going on for over 20 years. Especially in Japan, I think it came out like what, 96, 97. And Yu-Gi-Oh, in my opinion, is obviously a type of game that the creator to Kazuki Takahashi, rest in peace to him, did not expect it to be as big as it is. It was literally lightning in a jar. But you don't really get this type of decline from games like Pokemon, Magic, even only with Yu-Gi-Oh. And then, like I said, this is the digital version. The TCG is a whole other can of worms. The TCG just has its loyal people playing it, and the TCG can't really get new players in, and they barely have a hard time retaining the players that they do have. When you go over here, right here, right, Master Duel and Konami is in general, and this is a lot of Japanese companies, they typically do the same old BS they've been doing for years, treating it like it's the 90s. They're pro Japanese first, which makes sense because it is a Japanese card game. But what's a little annoying is this is a worldwide game, this is just not a Japanese exclusive title anymore. They're doing something called a dual points program, which from watching a lot of Master Duel people, like I did before this video, they all said that this is not really that good. You're not getting rid of a lot of dual points. Like you get like a login bonus, which ain't much. And then, but the points you're getting is really not a lot. And the worst part is, Japanese players get it first, which is kind of like, yeah, like here goes that BS again, where we gotta wait for Japan to get it first, and then we get it. Like one thing I've always been annoyed with Yu-Gi-Oh and a lot of Japanese properties in general, especially now that I'm older, I'm in my mid 30s. They're so Japan first, which is okay when the property first came out, but when you know you have a global product, when your product transcends your company, your country, you shouldn't have anything exclusive to that country unless there's like a special event or something. Or if you're gonna roll out something like this, like a rewards program, don't just test it out in your area. Just make it global. It's a video game for God's sake. I can understand if it's something like political, but it's not. This is just literally a video game, a hobby for people to enjoy. And according to the player base, you guys are being stingy with the shit that you're giving them to actually play the game. Like one of the main reasons I never really got hyper into Master Duel, which is also one of the reasons why a lot of people have a fall off that a lot of other people haven't mentioned in their videos, or if they have, I didn't really hear it in their videos. And it is Master Duel is not really an official actual translation to the TCG. Master Duel is its own format. So not only do we have Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, we also have Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis. So when you got all these with formats like OCG, TCG, Master Duel, now you got Genesis, and then you have all these other formats, it kind of makes you feel like how many different Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats are we gonna have that translates to online that we can actually mirror online. Every like we shouldn't have first of all, TCG in my opinion, TCG and OCG shouldn't be split anymore at this point in their life. I know that's like a Japanese thing with different games. I think Pokemon does it still as well, but it's 2025. It's not 1999. We shouldn't have our game split. The game should be global. Everyone, if everyone can buy the stuff globally anyway, your game should be global. It shouldn't be you shouldn't be trying to double dip into two markets to maximize profits, which is the main reason why I feel like the game is card games in the general is on a decline probably, but Yu-Gi-Oh specifically is on a bigger decline overall, not even just including Master, but as a property because Konami's clearly like quadruple trying to dip into their audience because they know Yu-Gi-Oh has a hard time in general getting new players and retaining players. So the players that are left, that love the game, the diehard Yu-Gi-Oh fans that can afford to play this game still, they want to dip in your pockets and squeeze every penny. So, which is why they want you to pay for these Master Duel decks, which is why they made Malice majority of the deck ultra rare Master Duel and ultra rare. You have to craft to get that stuff forever. Or which the fastest way to get it is just by paying your money. They design it that way so that way to extract more money from you. And let's say for your player like myself who's on a TCG, let's say if you want to go to OCG for the weekend and just play in a tournament, they make it extremely difficult for you to play. But not only that, you have to buy OCG stuff. You can't even use your TCG stuff. You have to buy your OCG stuff, which is the dumbest thing in the world. Now, I kind of understand why they do it to an extent because TCG players, OCG players, people in general nowadays, we're in a scalping culture. So I would imagine if Yu-Gi-Oh was a worldwide game, you would have a instance where you get some rich asshole that plays TCG buying all the Japanese boxes in bulk and reselling online, 'cause that's a big issue a lot of companies deal with. That kind of hurts the spirit of the game as well. But I'd argue there's different ways to like fix that. Like there's so many different ways you can fix that if the game gets popular enough. Like in my honest opinion as well, like outside of like Master Duel not mirroring the TCG, because that's really one of the reasons. Like it's just not for me as a person. Like Master Duel, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. There's no reason why Master Duel, the way it's designed, shouldn't just be Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG slash OCG as Master Duel. It shouldn't be its own thing on top of TCG, OCG, and now Genesis. And then they don't even give us the option to play like Goat, Edison. They don't give players multiple options. Like I just watched Team Samurai video and shout outs to him. He talks about on how he loves Master Duel, but and he has the money. So money's not really an issue with the game, but it is expensive. But only that, it's kind of boring. There's not so many different ways to play. And if I'm being honest right now, I just want to go deviate off the not so many different ways to play. Yu-Gi-Oh! In general has been called and joked about for the past couple of years now a pretty much a gambling card game. Like it's just a card game that you play with yourself, and whoever goes first has a huge advantage. And obviously, as a competitive player myself, I know that's not 100% the case, but it's kind of hard to make an argument that that's not the case when, as a viewer who don't play Yu-Gi-Oh as much, or somebody who I'm not speaking for myself, but if I was a new person interested in Yu-Gi-Oh and I watch it, the game it just looks like Solitaire Turbo, where the person who wins first have a huge advantage, and once they pop off their best combo, if their opponent can't interact, they lose. They guarantee lose because the opponent just didn't stop their ultimate combo. And people kind of hate that rock paper scissors type of style of Yu-Gi-Oh. And it's in all versions of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's in the TCG, the OCG, it's in Master Duel, not in Genesis yet. But I've seen some people online complain about Genesis already, saying how broken some decks are in Genesis. Yu-Gi-Oh has inherently tons of design flaws, but I think one of the reasons why Yu-Gi-Oh still retains a lot of the older players who've been playing forever, like myself, the guys in their 30s and mid to late 20s, is nostalgia. Nost- Going right here, nostalgia is a definition is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period, place, with I can't read for some reason, happy personal associations. For example, I was overcome with the acute nostalgia for days in college. For Yu-Gi-Oh players, that'd just be I was overcome with acute nostalgia for days playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And also too, I want to say dopamine. Dopamine is a big issue why players are addicted to Yu-Gi-Oh. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger that plays a crucial role in the brain's reward system. Pleasure and reward. Dopamine is released when we experience enjoyable activities such as eating, having sex, or achieving goals. Yu-Gi-Oh is a big goal-based driven game. Right now, the way modern Yu-Gi-Oh is designed, you have to get to your combo, and your goal is to get to your combo. And when you do that, you get a big ass dopamine rush. It feels good. You just feel really good. You know that euphoria you guys feel when you destroy your opponent with your best combo and your best deck. You only really get that from like Yu-Gi-Oh, fighting games, and like that. Dopamine is a natural reaction, but one of the main things that make Yu-Gi-Oh so addicting is if you go to a locals at a 3 to 4 or 5 round tournament and you just cook everyone, that's a big dopamine hit. Or even if you just cook in the game, or if you resolve your combo, there's so many different ways you get that dopamine rush. And dopamine is super addicting because all these pluses right here, like better sleep, better mood regulation, things like that. It's not a surprise that Yu-Gi-Oh is addicting, and the people who are diehards like myself, it's hard for us to get out. Like I just got out of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. I still enjoy it casually. I plan on going to locals eventually, but right now I just don't care about it because I've done it for so long. I just mentally checked out because I got tired of the rinse repeat. Format's kind of broke. It's like the same shit every year. Start of the year, the format's kind of decent. A new set drops, format gets goofy. You have to go buy that new deck, which is fine if you want to play the best deck. That's totally okay. But then the format gets kind of annoying again because they release something off the ban list that makes it toxic, i.e., stupid like one turn lock cards. There's thousands of them. Just look up one. And then when you got to deal with that shit again, people get pissed, people quit. Winter season comes down. Konami briefly fixes the format right before Christmas. So since they fixed the format right before Christmas, it gets you to buy the products. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Summertime rolls around, YCS season. Everyone's going to YCSs because they haven't seen their friends that they haven't seen in a while. They go to these events, and right before Nationals, when everyone is kind of comfortable with the current metagame, they drop a nuke, release something new to the format that's going to break the metagame and forces you to buy it right before Nationals. And they do it specifically to the TCG players and some players overseas a week before the event. That makes people have to rush and go buy these cards to line their freaking pockets. And that is so annoying. And like I said, Master Duel players experience this as well, which is why back in September they're doing this whole reward thing mainly for the Japanese audience to keep people interested. But numbers don't lie, man. Numbers don't lie. Like you shouldn't be seeing for a successful game a bunch of red. Obviously, red is gonna happen when you're in the business. As a business owner myself, like I consider my YouTube channel my business, you're gonna see red. That's just natural. No business lasts forever. But when you see shit like this, hear a bunch of people vocally saying, "Hey, we have a lot of issues with this game, and Konami's not fixing it." It's not a surprise that the game is dying. Now, TCG is getting a little bit better with the prize structure, but I was talking to my boy MSK on his stream. Shout out to him. We were both pretty much talking about like how even and he said he don't care about how much Konami gives Yu-Gi-Oh players at this point because it's like, dude, the shit that they're giving us is nothing. Like, yeah, we get a playmat here and there. You get exclusive promo cards here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. That's dog water. So it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of agree with you honestly. He didn't really say it exactly like that. I'm just using a professional form of what was talking about, but it is like Konami just treats the player base like freaking garbage. Now, like I said, there's people who love the game, and shout out to everybody who love Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole. I still love Yu-Gi-Oh as a property. It gave me a lot of good memories as a kid and as an adult, even. But man, oh man, like when you see the company that of a game that you love just completely just trying to extract every little resource out of you, especially as you get older, it turns you off. Like, and it when you find something else that's enjoyable from your childhood to enjoy, you're gonna do that. For example, me, I got into Beyblade X. I really love that hobby. My buddy Charles, he got into the Digimon card game and now he plays Pokemon again. My whole old Naruto crew refused to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh because Yu-Gi-Oh kind of been having a lot of these issues a long time ago. So they hopped into Pokemon because that was a money game anyway, and they enjoy Pokemon. So in a lot of the modern Yu-Gi-Oh players now who take a break, like I know a few players that are very competitive, like the Blessing Wilson is one of them. He had some issues with Yu-Gi-Oh, but he went to Lorcana and he was just like, bro, what have I been doing? I haven't had this much fun playing card game in forever. And I know a lot of players like that who just used to play Yu-Gi-Oh casually, got into different card games that had a better community, that had more respectful people in it, and they were just like, man, this is dope. Why don't Yu-Gi-Oh have this? And in my opinion, it starts from the top. It starts from the way Konami runs the game. I mean, the issues of the game is so obvious, but they refuse to do it. Like for example, with Master Duel, it should have been a 1v1 version of TCG OCG off the rip. And if they want to give you your own special format, that's fine. But for players like myself who are getting older in age that who don't have time to go to locals, who it would make more sense for us just to play Master Duel at home, play the actual TCG version at home. They should have just did it that way to give players like me a chance to play the actual TCG. I shouldn't have to go to a third party app like freaking Dueling Book just to play that. And same thing for the OCG players. I'm pretty sure they would agree with that. Now, some people might say, hey, I like another option to play a different format, but it's like, bro, you're just playing a pseudo TCG format that's really like pretty much a couple months behind. Like, that's not that fun at all. But like I said, there's so many different reasons why I could say why Master Duel is dying. But ultimately, at the end of the damn day, it's just the top. Whoever is running and managing Yu-Gi-Oh at the top of Konami right now is off their square. I mean, Kazuki Takahashi was off his square for a while as well, which is kind of why he started with Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush duels and focused on that because I think that was his new passion. But I would argue like that's still like, bro, you got a successful game. But I'm not gonna speak on him. You know, he had. I'm pretty sure he made his decisions. It wasn't all him because when you get up there in business, you can't just answer to your audience. You got to answer to your shareholders as well. And even more recently with the TCG, Konami just now started to announce we're gonna have full art cards for Yu-Gi-Oh! And obviously OCG gets it first because they're the baby. But it's just like, bro, it's been 20 something odd years. We just now getting full arts and we've been asking for full arts forever. Yeah, that don't make sense. But anyway, Master Duel's dying, man. People are pissed off. Let me know what you guys think about this topic in the comments down below. Do you guys play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? Let me know. Why do you guys think Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is dying? I think ultimately, just to wrap this video, because I did get on a few tangents, Master Duel is on a decline. Master Duel is dying, specifically because of the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Is inherently designed. And also because Master Duel is just not a 1v1 direct iteration of the actual card game. And even people might say, oh, well, if it was an iteration, people would hate the game anyway. But it should be an iteration of the card game because that gives players who actually play the TCG a way to play at home and not have to go to locals. So everyone doesn't have access to locals. But like I said, man, there's plenty of different issues to go over. But we discuss that another day. It's your boy Rogue here, and I'm signing out. Peace. See you guys in the next video. Peace.